Do you dream of easy money? That's right. Many people do. Everyone needs easy money. After all, by nature we don't really like to work, so hard money isn't that interesting to us. Is it interesting to bend your back all day long to earn a piece of bread? Is it right? Is this life? To hell with such a life. Today is not the time to work for money to the point of exhaustion. Let the tractor work, it's made of iron. But you and I should strive for easy money, because behind this desire is our laziness, which in a certain form is the engine of progress. A lazy person, if he really wants or needs something, can come up with something new to simplify his life and make it more comfortable. Therefore, if you approach easy money from the right side, it turns out that it is a great blessing. Let's study this topic carefully in order to simplify our lives as much as possible. I myself have already partly done this, now it's up to you. Learn how to earn easy money and enjoy life. How to make money easily? First of all, we will look at a not-so-interesting way of earning easy money, through work. It is simply the most popular among most people, so we should definitely pay attention to it. Work for money can be different, so in this case, by easy money we mean, first of all, an easy way of earning it. After all, there is a difference between lifting sacks and sending emails from the outbox to the inbox, isn't there? At the same time, the salary in this world, as a rule, is higher for those who do not lift anything heavier than a pen than for those whose whole body aches after a day at work. And there is nothing surprising here, because in this world, it is not those people who have a very hard job who are valued, but those who are difficult to replace. Irreplaceability is what is valued in this world. It follows that in order to find a highly paid, relatively uncomplicated, prestigious and perhaps even interesting job, you need to become a specialist, and a very good one at that, and of course, in some popular and at the same time not particularly competitive niche. Therefore, speaking about how to make money easy money, it should be said that it is often preceded by very difficult training. It is only from the outside that we see how some officials, businessmen, politicians make big money, seemingly without lifting a finger. But we do not know about the difficulties they had to overcome to get their asses into a cushy job, or create, or even squeeze out a successful business. Even if they are outright bandits and thieves with fake higher education diplomas, this does not mean that their path to their goal was easy, especially since in our country it is not safe. So, in order to earn money easily, you either need to be a good specialist in some profitable field, or be a sly person who knows how to get into warm places. And for this, you need to study, because by nature you are just an uncouth block that needs to be framed in order to get a beautiful figure. A beautiful figure is your abilities, on which your income level and the ease of your life depend. So you can easily earn money only if you are very different from most people for the better, friends, I emphasize, for the better. I realized this back when I first began to cooperate with rich people. I saw how much they differ from most ordinary people in their views on the world, in their reasoning, in their approach to business, and much more. You can't be like everyone else if you want to live the way only a few live, and if you need easy money. Be special, unique, be better than most other people. Earning money by deception, this is perhaps the simplest and most common way to get easy money. It is difficult to call it earnings at all, but in many types of activities, deception is part of the main work of people, that is, people seem to do something useful for you, and at the same time they deceive you. Therefore, in such cases, we can talk about earning easy money through deception. And there is complete deception, when they trick you into giving them money and give you nothing in return. This is not earnings, but getting money through deception. Therefore, all the same, deception is not the same as deception. But in general, deceiving for money is not the same as working for it. Let's face it, deception is a profitable business. Therefore, it is used everywhere. It is one thing to work for money, and quite another to deceive people, encouraging them to give you money in exchange for rosy dreams. In this way, you can not lift a finger and have a lot of money. To some extent, it will be dirty money, but it will still be money. How to make money by deception? Well, there are many ways to do it. You understand, creativity is important in this matter, since the situations and people who need to be deceived can be different. In one case, we promise gullible simpletons to organize an intergalactic chess tournament, and in another, an income of 50% per annum. The approach is different, but the essence is the same: promise, collect money, and goodbye gentlemen/comrade suckers. Well, I will not even talk about lotteries, casinos, and other obvious scams. With people who are into this, believing that they can get rich this way, you need to communicate as with the mentally ill. But despite the difference in approaches to deceiving people for money, all these methods have one common rule. If we are talking specifically about deception, and not about fraud, extortion, racketeering and banditry, which for some reason we also often call deception, then it is important for him to promise something to people, something very profitable, which they will fall for. The main thing in deception is that people themselves voluntarily give you their money, stupidly believing your fairy tales. It's like with Pinocchio, who was promised a certain way to multiply his money, not forcing, but encouraging him to part with his money. And when they add an extra line to your rent receipt and oblige you to pay it, this is not deception, and not even fraud, this is robbery, that is, the violent seizure of your money. So you should not confuse one with the other. Deceivers, in principle, are not as dangerous as extortionists, because their love of money is as widespread as human stupidity allows it to be. If you promise people 50% of income every month after they invest their money in your pyramid, then you are not to blame for the fact that there are fools in our society who believe it. All questions to the state, to the education that it gives to the masses. And for you, as a person or, figuratively speaking, as a white sheriff who wants to make easy money on fools, the problems of blacks, i.e. these same fools, should definitely not be in the first place. It is not your fault that people are stupid, and it is not your responsibility to bear all the consequences of their stupidity. So if someone believes that you can increase money with a magic wand, then it will be their problem, those fools' problem, not yours. However, we should not forget about conscience and morality, because money is money, fools are fools, but if we sow lies and deceit everywhere, then we will all reap the corresponding fruits. We must understand that attracting money into your life with the help of deception can turn out to be extremely negative consequences for you. And life in society only gets worse from this. After all, we cannot live without trusting anyone at all. We are forced to trust someone. And in order to trust at least someone, we ourselves must be reasonably honest so that people trust us too. After all, if everyone deceives each other, our life will become unbearable. So, to some extent, responsibility for deceiving people still lies with you. Sales. I will write a lot, about sales on this site. Do you know why? Because all business relationships are tied to them. A person who knows how to sell, really knows how, that is, has mastered the art of sales to perfection, will never be left without money. Including easy, relatively easy money, he will be able to earn by learning to sell. I am not talking about all these market traders, who always have everything tasty, fresh and high quality. They are not sellers, they are small fry. A real seller is someone who knows how to pull money out of thick wallets, with a minimum of effort. It is not that you do not need to offer people anything real for their money, you just need to offer things that not everyone can offer. If you start selling potatoes at the market, you will have many of the same narrow-minded competitors offering the same product, with whom you will butt heads, that is, compete for the buyer. The same applies to many other things: cars, real estate, oil. There is competition everywhere, which often complicates earning money, so it is difficult to call it easy. Competition is, of course, cool, for a market economy and in general for the normal development of society. It certainly must exist. And those niches in which people compete with each other can be monstrously profitable. So butting horns makes sense when big money is at stake. But if you want to earn not just big, but also easy money, which, as you remember, is discussed in this article, then you need to offer the world something unique, high quality and necessary, which no one else can offer. Or, you can offer something old, but as if it were something new. You just understand, selling something that everyone needs, you don't need a lot of brains. You don't need to have a lot of brains to sell something without having competitors, and therefore not looking for anything special that can interest people buyers. And competitors can be eliminated by dirty methods, if the authorities in the country allow it. And it's a completely different matter when you sell something that is either completely revolutionary and therefore allows you to be the first and only one on the market, not due to the barbaric elimination of competitors, but due to novelty, innovation, ingenuity. Or, if you are a cool salesman and can sell snow to people in winter, this is also very cool. In this case, you can earn big and easy money, due to your skill. In general, the one who was the first in something that took off schemes the cream. And also the one who knows how to attract people to himself and interest them, that is, a real salesman, can also count on not only big, but also easy money. Find out how to learn to sell in order to earn good money. I have articles on this topic. This is a sure thing, believe me. In general, being the first in something is very profitable. Someone invented personal computers, someone invented an operating system for them, someone put cars on the assembly line, making them available to the general population, and so on. People who were the first in something that became popular with society, deservedly got rich, in a relatively easy way. Why relatively? Well, I think it is clear that it is not so easy to come up with something new and introduce it to the market, but if you have done it, rest assured you will have a lot of money. Whereas butting heads with a bunch of other traders offering the same thing often turns out to be much more difficult and less profitable. However, there are situations when reselling some nonsense, without much effort, even with a bunch of competitors, turns out to be easier than trying to come up with something new, original. But here, I repeat, it is important to be a good seller, able to attract, interest, motivate. So sometimes it is profitable to sell jeans, if they are in great demand, and you know how to sell them. Well, as you can see, for some people, trading oil in the 21st century and doing nothing at the same time is easier than developing highly intellectual production. In my opinion, such easy money is fraught with negative consequences, which, in fact, we see in those backward economies that are built on selling their resources. The same is true for an individual if he is engaged in an activity that many other people can do, then no matter how profitable it is, sooner or later it will stop bringing in more or less good money. And the person, in turn, will fall behind life, doing the same thing for many years. Unless this business is so complex that not everyone will dare to do it. However, as our harsh reality shows, even highly qualified specialists, for example, doctors, can be thrown into the trash. I am amazed at this phenomenon, but it exists in our lives. Therefore, the choice of a profession, business, and, in general, your life path must be approached very seriously. And if we talk about what is better, work or business, then the answer is obvious, definitely business. Why? Because a person engaged in business is more flexible, if necessary, He can more easily adjust and adapt to changing conditions and earn money for a living than someone who is used to doing everything on command. So if we talk not only about money, but also about life, then it is easier for someone who is better adapted to it. How to invent easy money? There is nothing easier than inventing something that everyone will need and for which they will be ready to do anything. Therefore, the easiest money is invented money. Money can be earned, it can be stolen, you can deceive other people with money, in the end you can take it from someone by force. But the simplest thing is to just take and invent it. Or rather, it is not so much the money itself that can be invented, but some value for which people will do everything they are told. In our time, such values as, for example, cryptocurrency, which is an alternative to state-issued money and which some states are actively fighting against, are beginning to emerge. And why do some states fight against such values, or rather most of them? It would seem, what the hell, you have your own, state-owned shit currency, you have all the mass media under control, you have smart guys working for you who can make up fairy tales for the people in order to deceive them, to instill in them the value of anything, including your money. Why then fight against values artificially created by individual people? Isn't it easier, say, to discredit them? It turns out, no, it's not easier. After all, if the people so strongly distrust their lying and hypocritical state that they are ready to refuse any services and values imposed on them by brute force, switching to alternative values, albeit dubious in their reliability, but less lying, then there is nothing else to do but force people to obey you. Those who have wealth and money and live like they have it all are not going to lose everything just because someone is too savvy to not allow themselves to be exploited with dishonest money. Therefore, when the carrot does not work, the government uses the stick. Remember that money and power are highly dependent on each other. Therefore, anyone who encroaches on power through money will inevitably face serious difficulties and problems. This is a game that not everyone can play. It is very easy for the state, or rather those people who determine the weather in a particular country, to print any amount of money, to control their people with their help. People have to work hard for these drawn-up pieces of paper that are constantly depreciating according to the elite's plan. And you understand that you are being deceived, you are forced to work for something that, firstly, is constantly depreciating your work, and secondly, for something that is very easy for someone. This is unfair. And injustice makes people angry. That's why people look for opportunities to outsmart the state, because they have no other choice. Even if you are a crook and a thief, you strain yourself to steal money, to cheat someone with it, and those who print this money, in fact, do not lift a finger to get it. Now this is really easy money, easier than ever. It is not just easy, it is free money, available only to a limited number of people. Well, if you want to invent easy money, invent something, some value that people will believe in. Invent fair rules of the game, according to which resources important for people's lives will be distributed, then people will believe in your money or in what will replace it. And this value you have invented will make you not only a rich person, because you will be able to manage vital resources with the help of your system, but will also give you a certain power. But this activity can lead you to problems with the state, that is, with those from whom you will take away power and wealth in this way. So this method of making easy money, and in fact, creating it, is not safe. Laziness is the engine of progress. At the very beginning of the article, I said that a person's desire for easy money caused by laziness can, under certain conditions, become the engine of progress. Now we will return to this idea and develop it. What, did you think I forgot about it? Not at all. Usually, I try to leave the most interesting for last, to reward those readers who have enough patience and discipline to read the article to the end. Because this is the only way to learn something. So, regarding laziness and the easy money associated with it. Laziness only becomes the engine of progress when it overcomes a highly moral, educated person who has a great desire to have something and is looking for a way to achieve it in different ways. For this, a person can come up with very interesting and useful things for society. If laziness overcomes an illiterate and immoral blockhead, he begins to steal and commit banditry. Or, if his level of aggression is low, he leads a rather passive lifestyle, which often leads him to poverty and hunger. I suggest you come up with something new, for which people will be ready to generously reward you. Learn to earn smart money, which not everyone can earn. It will also become easy money for you. Create a business in which you can apply a new, more advanced approach to work in order to satisfy some human needs in the best possible way. Or solve certain problems of people in the best possible way. Today there are all the opportunities for this. And knowledge about money will help you avoid unnecessary mistakes when starting a new business. The point is to look for new, easier ways to make money, and at the same time legal ones, so that you do not have problems. This is how you will earn easy money. A good idea is what you need. Just one good idea can change your whole life. It may sound trite, but it is fair and relevant. And it is definitely better than doing things the old way, working for someone all day long, usually for a small salary, until you are thrown out on the street like a puppy. This should not be. Society must move to a new, more humane and fair level of development. I believe that in the future, hired exploitative labor will be eliminated even more, as it once happened in history, and most people will work for themselves, as Vladimir Meeker wrote, albeit somewhat awkwardly, but generally sensibly. In general, friends, easy money is a delicate matter. Everyone dreams of it, everyone wants it. And everyone strives for it in different ways. By nature, man is a lazy, greedy, and often very stupid creature, so it is very easy to catch him on this bait. It is enough to promise a person big and at the same time easy money, and he will inevitably fall for it. Look how many different scams there are today. So be careful, don't let anyone catch you with this bait. Easy money does exist, but no one will hand it to you on a silver platter so that you can live your life in pleasure and do nothing.